demand in terms of the market or in terms of the users, and very soon the way that it is progressing, you guys will find it that it will become almost like a next go-to solution for, or out of 10 profile you will see 8 to 9 people or the request is coming around the Playwright, right? So my question to people who are aware about that, who has gone through the Playwright, what makes simple question is, why should I move to Playwright? Anyone who wanted to share your knowledge for the wider audience? So people who come from, maybe take example, you have already worked on Selenium and then you got a chance. I remember who said, I think Sneha, right? Sneha, you have worked on Cypress, you have worked on Selenium, and you have worked on also Playwright, right? Sneha? What is your thought process, Sneha, about why Playwright? What makes Playwright as a demanding concept rather than the something called Cypress, which came before Playwright? What is your thought process around that? Or anyone, guys, who wanted to share? Because I would definitely encourage all of you to share your knowledge if you have knowledge, because knowledge should be shared, and you have to talk about that, right? What is that? Why we are doing it? What is the purpose? What is the benefit? What is the limitation as?
Is the faster than Selenium, because Selenium is approaching the WebDriver data are completed.
Yes. So Playwright is, guys, definitely, I'll accept that. Playwright is in fact 50% faster than Selenium. And its market research says, I'm not saying that all. When I say 50% faster, you know what I mean to say. Take a one script of login, try to run the same script in login with Selenium with Java. Suppose it's going to take a 30 second or 20 second to execute. The same script with Playwright with JavaScript or TypeScript is going to take a 15 seconds. So it's going to be like 50% of your okay. And there is a reason behind that. It's not about and I think what I was saying is a very valid point, guys. Playwright follow the WebSocket. We'll discuss about that if anyone is aware about that. Whereas Selenium, so it's an architectural change which makes them as a very powerful. Is not about simply Playwright has become powerful, right? It is a architecture which makes them as a, so they have done a lot of hard work in background to make Playwright very powerful. And it's not that easy for someone like anyone who is supporting Selenium to suddenly make Selenium as a powerful, right? Because their architecture does not allow them. So anyone who is aware about that, good. Not aware, let me tell you, Selenium follow the API based concept. API HTTP, where for every request they'll make a one API call. Whereas WebSocket is a concept which we also call as a BD concept. Anyone has heard about BD concept? This is how they write. So BD is, guys, called bidirectional. Okay, that's what most of the automation library nowadays which comes in a market is following that concept. Okay, we'll talk about that in details, but that's a very good point, Bala. Anyone else, guys? What is other things which makes Playwright outstanding compared to the Selenium or any other library which is available in market as of now?
The initial auto-waiting.
Yeah, they have auto-wait concept. You're right. We'll discuss about that. That's a very great feature Playwright has built it, because that is where people struggle in terms of when they're using a Selenium. Okay, good. Next.
Setup is more easier compared to other tools like Selenium.
Oh, what is that? I didn't hear you. What was you said?
Like the framework setup, so initially downloading the dependency framework, so that is easier and faster.
Setup is flawless. I agree. You do not have a that complicated setup like Selenium. And the reason being is Playwright has adopted everything internally, where the mantra of Playwright is, I don't want my audience to spend a time to build a Playwright or build a tool or build a library. See, in Selenium, most of the energy goes behind building or setting up the Selenium, right? That is one of the bottleneck of Selenium. We'll discuss about that also. And that has been made very clean and clear in the Playwright. So I agree with that. Good point. Anything else, guys?
The inbuilt AI-powered
We don't
agents.
have to download any. Sorry, we don't have to download any external jars. Rather, we have API fixtures, inbuilt fixtures to use. That is one thing, even for HTML reports.
Yeah, Sneha, jar is, see, Selenium also you do not have to install the jar. You have a pom.xml where you go and add dependency. So that I'll keep it under the setup. What you said is, Sneha, absolutely valid point. See, in Selenium, people used to do earlier as a jar mode. Nowadays, no one does in Selenium also jar mode. It's all done through your build management tool like a Maven, right? I hope you all knows about that, right?
Okay.
Anyone who is new to that world, I'll be keep comparing because I want all of you to be aware about that, because today market Playwright is knowingly or unknowingly going to be compared with the Selenium. So you guys equally need to know, because tomorrow when you are going to talk to any customer, the customer will ask you why. Give me some data, right? And you should have a data point. And that is the whole purpose of talking about these things, because I want all of you to understand the concept rather than by hurting the concept, right? So yes, Sneha, I am with you, but that will come under the setup itself. Someone else was saying before Sneha something.
Yeah, Deepak. Sorry, Abhinav. AI-powered agents. So this framework already include like AI agents for like planner, generator, and healer.
Yeah.
Will that also be public?
Correct. See, in fact, before that itself, Playwright has inbuilt some AI concept in sense of or in respect of, there is something called, we'll talk about that also. There is something called Playwright Inspector.
Yes.
So that, see, when you talk about AI, is a quite bigger topics, but yeah, in AI itself, we have two types of, we talk about guys called AI and we talk about agentic AI, right? So AI is something like your concepts are certain concept Playwright has built in a long back, in a very early stage, something like Playwright Inspector, Code Gen, these things all comes under the place of, but they have also built a little bigger operations or little bit recently, just 4 or 5 months back, October, November month, they released that something called Playwright Agent. We'll discuss about that or not. Okay. Yeah. And that is more in terms of the agentic AI concept is what they have built it, but before that they were already having that. Yeah. Other good point I am looking for people who has worked on that 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, right? And would have gone through.
Yeah, sorry. Like debugging is very easy here with the trace feature, so we are able to debug your. Okay.
Yes, you don't find the debug concept. I have not seen many, especially in the open source space, anyone is spending too much time on the debugging side. This guy has done the brilliant job about. So I agree with him. Debugging is a superb concept. They have built it. We'll see that because today world, debugging plays a very important role, and especially guys, those days are gone where developer will be happy with your one information like steps, a screenshot, and videos, right? Today, every developer asks you only one information. Provide me the network log info, right? Because, and that is where Playwright comes with the superb features. Selenium has also implemented it. People were also doing earlier, but it was a painful process in Selenium. Still, it remains a painful process. But yeah, Playwright has made it as a flawless, superb. One of the best features I like about the Playwright, which we call as a, absolutely he has mentioned the right point, and that we call as a trace. The name is called trace, which is basically in a very layman language, you can say like call as a network log. Perfect, I'm happy with that.
There's one more feature that is headless mode and headed mode, which Playwright is having.
Selenium also have. I don't buy out this concept. Yeah, this is just a way of talking, guys. But Selenium also has, yes, what I'll agree with that is they have a flawless free features, means you don't have to do too much of hard work, but it is not like you cannot achieve with a Selenium. We can definitely achieve with a Selenium. Example, anyone, if you see here, guys, you can see here, do not go ahead with these kind of things. So they have, they support this browser, they support this language. Let me tell you, Selenium is supporting since a long time, right? Selenium does support JavaScript, Java, Python, C#, and Ruby, right? Even these guys. In fact, Playwright was forced to go ahead and introduce these many languages. But there's the same time, there is a one more very superb library we have, but there's no, because of the less support, it did not click in the market. And I think I remember Sneha mentioning that she has worked on that. That is called Cypress. We'll discuss about that history also. And then you have a guys Selenium. So you can open these three websites for your reference: selenium.dev, playwright.dev. If anyone who want to learn about Playwright, there's a great documentation. Let me tell you, Playwright also says that I support multiple browser, platform independent, multiple language. Selenium was supporting since long time. So anyone who knows that Selenium does support all these things. So that's not a great features, or I would not call them as one of the turning features about Playwright that I should go for that, right? And we'll discuss about that also. Yes, but yes.
Abhinav, what about network interception? So does Playwright also support?
See, network intercept is also supported. Is like not directly supported by Selenium, but by adding a library you can do it. What these guys are doing it, these guys has made everything your life easier. Bundled with everything in a single package. We generally call them as a one umbrella for all the solution. Got it? It is that way Playwright is becoming a flawless. It's not like if anyone say that no, I cannot achieve in Selenium, it's a false information. We can equally achieve in Selenium. The only difference is in Selenium, if you have to build everything. Yeah, that's all. Otherwise,
but here in Playwright we are doing it without external proxies, right?
Absolutely.
Like
that's what I said is. Yes, that's what I said is. It's like, see, you have. That's what I'm also keep telling to audience in the market. See, anyone who comes from the background of Selenium and now moving to background of Playwright, you know what is that you are doing it, and that is what I was talking to. I was telling to him also, or would be for everyone who has come from the Selenium background or any automation background you are coming. It is a simple procedure, guys. Remember, don't assume that Playwright is something new. First time I am going to interact with them. It is something that you are already aware about it. Just that your one concept has to be clear, and that we call as, see, Selenium is more like, guys, till now, people who are, you were driving the Maruti 800 till, right? From now, in terms of Playwright, they are giving you the BMW, right? The analogy of this, to tell you only one message to all of you. The message is, you know the driving. Okay? You are not new to the driving. And another message the market is trying to tell you, in fact, I always suggest people, when you are learning automation, do not focus on the tool, focus on the concept. Similar way, when you are learning a car driving, don't focus on the car, focus on the driving skill. Because if your driving skill is clear, any car you can drive. Take example, if I just take example for Deepak, if Deepak knows that Maruti 800, right? And if I hand over the BMW, I don't think so Deepak will say that, no, I don't know. He knows, he just doesn't know the BMW features. He might require to sit in that car for one day, see the features, functionality, might try 1 and 2 round, and I am absolutely 200% sure that he will be able to take that car on the highway as well, right? That is the whole mindset I'm trying to change. I wanted to guys basically to convey that don't think that it is completely different job that I'm going to do. The same job, same concept. The feature is better, the approach is better, the technology is better, and the comfort is better. But one thing is intact. And what is that one thing? You go to Maruti 800 also, you have a ABC. In BMW also we have a ABC. I hope everyone knows about car concept ABC. Anyone who want to explain what is the ABC meant for car?
Accelerator, brake, clutch.
Accelerator, brake, clutch, plus couple of other things. Any car you go, you will be finding a 4 wheels. Any car you will go, you will be finding a engine, you will be finding a steering, you will be finding a seat, you will be have you ever seen any BMW which has a 6 wheel? Answer is no, right? So your basic concept is intact. Okay? People who come, just to give you one example, right guys, people who come from the Selenium background, you all know that you will be always writing this line, right? Driver dot, this is your famous line, right? People can relate with me, whoever has worked on that, right? And then you will say, if I have to enter the value into any edit box, what is the command, guys? To enter that value in any text box in Selenium?
Send key. Send.
Correct? Okay. So what is the message that I'm trying to give to all of you? Any automation tool you go, whether you have used UFT, erstwhile it is used to be called as a QTP, Tosca, Robot Framework, Cypress, Selenium, and Playwright. The same concept. Concept is not going to change. Approach is not going to change. The features will be different. Example, see, again guys, if you take any application in this world, any application, that's what I always say to people, don't focus on application, focus on the concept, focus on the functionality, focus on the behavior. So imagine, just for the, as I told, right, see, this is my application, right? And I wanted to automate this username, password, and all those things, right guys? What you will be doing? Any web application will be always opening via browser. So in the browser you go, you find the elements, and then on the elements you perform the action. That is the same logic any automation tool in this world work at. So here the same concept, guys. Your here driver, you know what is driver is referring here? Anyone, any guess? Nothing but a call, guys, your browser. Under the browser, you have a object identification. And then on the object, you are going to do something called, we call as an action or same concept Cypress. You ask Sneha, Sneha knows Cypress, right Sneha? Same way you are writing cy dot, right? And then you have an object identification dot and action, correct? And you guys, anyone who has already used Playwright, you are also doing the same job in Playwright right now. You are writing like this, page dot, get by role. I hope you guys are following, who already knows about that. Whoever doesn't know that, you will very soon come to know that what I'm talking about, right? And what is the command we have to enter the value into the Playwright for any text box? Right now, agree guys, everyone? Or you guys disagree? You can also say no. Understood? So basically, the message is very clear, guys. Can you see that here? There in Selenium we call driver, here we call page. There we call find element by name, here we call get by role, many things are there. There we call send keys, here we call fill. Have you seen any change in the approach? That's what I was telling you. When you are trying to learn the car, don't focus on the type of car, focus on the driving skill. Because your driving skill is clear, your rest all the concepts are clear. Moments you focus on the tool, half of the people lose the focus and interest around automation because of the tool. They are more focused on the tool rather than the concept. Okay, any other features and functionality, guys, according to you, which you wanted to highlight, which is a game-changing environment for Playwright?
How about the selectors?
What is that?
Playwright. Selectors.
Correct. They have a selector, but selector is a common concept of every automation. I could say like this way, they have a better selectors, more industry-specific selectors, and more focused selector, which I can definitely buy out, right? So your answer has to be very clear. You cannot say that, okay, selectors is one of the reasons behind people go for Playwright, right? Selectors is a heart and soul of any automation. Without selector, you cannot do that, right? Whether ask anyone, I think Dada K or someone can agree with me. Even in UFT QTP, you have a selector concept, right? Robot framework also you have a selector concept. You go to Cypress also you have a selector concept. Selenium also we have a selector concept, right? So selector is the heart and core concept of any automation. You cannot they have a better selector mechanism and concept. That is the game changing that I can, and I'll talk about that. Anything else?
Advantage, yeah.
Very much doable in Selenium as well. Selenium does support anyone who has used Selenium, right?
See that the runtime we can use that like in the
correct.
So
yes, absolutely. So yeah, that I agree. That is where I was telling you that your answer has to be very precise in terms of, so it should convince the other side of the audience, right? It could be your client, it could be your management, It could be any stakeholder, right? So your answer is such a way that you are trying to convey the message that, and that is how the Playwright has, in fact, if you go to the Playwright website and look at that, you know how they are differentiating them. They are not telling them that I have a this and that. They are telling them what other do not have, I have. See here. That's how they have recently modified this page, because they are on the very first page itself, they are talking about the MCP, Model Context Protocol. They have been built. Earlier, people need to do a lot of hard work to set up the AI. Now it is a inbuilt capability. They have a Playwright test. That is the very first features. You know what is the meaning of Playwright test? The message is very clear. They have an inbuilt capability to run the test. Selenium does not have an inbuilt capability. If I have to run the test in Selenium, you know guys, on the top of the method, I have to write always something like that. Remember anyone what we are supposed to write to run the any method in Selenium? We have to write like that, right? You know why do we write this? What is @test in Selenium? Annotation, right? There are many different types of is it a feature? Annotation is a feature of Selenium?
No, we will be importing package to do that thing.
Correct, and so it is not a feature of Selenium, it's a feature of TestNG, right? Or JUnit. I hope everyone knows. JUnit and TestNG itself is a one library or framework, right? Selenium is a one separate framework. So Selenium does not come with the inbuilt capability. In fact, Selenium does not have an assertion also. I hope everyone knows that. Selenium has only two assertions. One is called is displayed and one is called is enabled, right? Nothing else apart from that. You have to do any assertion in Selenium, you have to depend upon the test engine. I hope everyone knows this also, right? That is one of the challenging scenarios in tough job in Selenium. Playwright has thought about that. They have built great amount of assertion. You can't even imagine anything that you can think about in your application, everything they have built it. Okay, and that is what they talks about all those their features. So yes, I agree this. That is where they have a first great feature called test runner, inbuilt test runner. You don't have to depend like Selenium on the TestNG or some other third-party library. They have been built. Second, auto waiting is a great feature. Assertion is the third great feature. Tracing, network log is another great feature. Parallel execution. Yes, I don't call them as a great feature because this was already there in Selenium. Yes, it's a tough job to implement in Selenium because if anyone has to do the parallel execution in Selenium, we have to depend upon TestNG. In TestNG, we have a features called .xml file, right? Many people would have heard about. In XML file, we have a one concept called thread count. But I have to build it. I have to spend my energy, time, and a lot of logic I have to write to implement the parallel execution in Selenium. But in Playwright, you don't have to do anything at all to do the parallel execution. That is where I agree. Cross-browser. Suppose I need to run my test against Chrome, Firefox, Edge browser, right? I have to do again another 10 to 15 line of code and plus another great amount of hard work to implement that logic. In Playwright, again, that is flawless. You don't have to write even the single line of code. If you want to do the parallel execution, you want to do the cross-browser, anything you want to do, Playwright has made everything inbuilt. But yes, that is not a features of only Playwright. It's a features was already there. Many other tools are following it. Okay. Yes. Anyone heard about what is WebKit, guys? Have you ever heard about the browser called WebKit? Okay. Have you guys heard about the browser called Safari? Where do we find a browser called Safari? Anyone?
System
On the Mac, right? So if I have to, in Selenium, if I have to run my code on the Safari browser, I have to go and set up my Selenium on the Mac system, right? That is another painless problem or is a painful solution, I would say. But if you look at the Playwright has been thought about that, right? Suppose my entire journey is on the Windows, only for one browser I need to move to or do the entire setup once again into the, not setup, but at least I have to set up in another system. I need another Mac system, right? Playwright has thought about that also. They have built a replica of Safari in form of WebKit, which you can run on the Windows system. So that's another great thought process by Playwright. Remarkable thought process. They have thought about every minor details that people might face. They have made it your life easier. So WebKit is a very similar like a guy's Safari browser. Okay. Plus, look at here. That is how they are highlighting their main features. They are not highlighting those features which is everywhere it's there. So one of the best features they have called auto wait and web first assertion. The reason is they are targeting the all Selenium audience. In Selenium, it's a painful job. Auto wait is one of the biggest challenge in Selenium. Assertion is one of the second biggest challenge in Selenium. Both the problem they have solved it in the Playwright. I'll show you live. They have a superb locators mechanism. You will not find such locator mechanism into any other automation library or tool except Playwright. And we'll discuss about that, why I'm talking about that. Okay. Parallel, cross browser, as I told you, right? I'm not saying this is only the features has been built by Playwright. It was already there by the other. They have made it much easier. That I can agree. Test isolation, you can see here. That's another thought process. So Selenium doesn't run in the isolation mode. Selenium always run in a dependent. These guys has given all the two concepts to us. Suppose I have, right, someone like Abhishek who wanted to run the things in the isolation mode, but there is a team member in the same project who wanted to run the things in the dependent mode. Playwright provides you both features. Selenium does not have that features. Selenium only works in a more like a dependent mode, not the isolation. Why they have done that? Because they do not want to compromise with the execution time. And that is another reason why Playwright is very, very faster compared to any other modern framework if you talk about in current market. Okay, built for AI agent, as I told you already, recently they are highlighting these things and they have some powerful tooling which was definitely missing in Selenium. One of the great features they have built it called as test generator. I'm a great fan of the test generator, which we call them as a code gen. Then they have built a trace viewer, network log. They have built something called Playwright inspector. We'll talk about that. And they have a lot of inbuilt VS Code extensions, which is another game-changing scenarios. Okay. If you look at that, on the very last, they have highlighted about the any browser, any platform, because Selenium also support that. So this is not a brownie point for Playwright, or I would not say that this is a game-changing features for the Playwright. It's just that plus multiple lines. So these three concepts was also there in Selenium. I remember someone highlighted that browser. I mean to say the mobile browser, yes, but mobile browser is also concept in Selenium. Anyone knows how to achieve the browser concept, mobile browser concept in Selenium? See, it doesn't mean that people who know Selenium, you cannot achieve the mobile browser. It's very much doable. Just that we have to use a dimension class in Selenium. Okay, headless browser is also there in the concept of Selenium, right? Just that we have to use a class, which we call them as a any idea? We have a call Chrome options for Chrome browser. Similar way, Edge options, Firefox option, right? So inside that they have built the concept. In Playwright everything is ready-made. That is the only difference. It doesn't mean that Selenium does not have that features. Okay guys, anyone, what is the limitation of Playwright? So we have talked about the advantage of Playwright. What is the limitation Playwright has? Anyone? Based on your experience?
Can't test mobile apps.
Hmm?
Mobile apps can't be tested.
Mobile apps, please remember that guys. But they are working on that. Very soon they'll come up with that features also. Mobile apps, you cannot, that's what right as of now people has to depend upon APM. APM also support JavaScript. Second, any other things, feature that you cannot do it?
It doesn't support Internet Explorer.
Doesn't support?
Internet Explorer.
Internet Explorer is no more in the market.
Limited.
No, it's no more in the market. Do you have IE? We have a Edge. IE is gone. So there is no point of supporting. I hope you got my point, right? No one supported, and
Right.
Selenium does not support now. It is like you are still using the Maruti 800, but do we have a support for Maruti 800? Answer is technically no, right? In market, that's the same concept. Okay, yes. The another thing that guys, you cannot do it with the thick client. In a layman language, desktop-based application, right? I remember someone talked about, I think it was Dada P, right? WinApp, right Dada?
Yes.
So anyone guys? Anyway, you know why?
Support.
Yeah, because nowadays only 2 to 3% product is left which is on the thick client, right? 95 to 97% things has been already migrated to the web application.
Yeah.
World is all about web and mobile apps. So there is nothing called on thick client, and that's why no one is supporting. Neither the Playwright wanted to invest their energy behind that. Makes sense, everyone? Clear? You should also know that. Okay. Anyone knows, guys, what is the difference between tool versus, I know we all talk about tool versus library. By the way, Selenium, Playwright and all, we all talks tool, but actually it's not a tool. Selenium, Playwright and all these are library. But any thought, any guess? What comes under tool, what comes under library?
Tools comes under Visual Studio framework.
Visual Studio is IDE, but I'm talking about more in the automation's point of view. If I say, guys, what comes under, according to your thought process or knowledge, under the automation as a tool and
QTP.
automation as a library?
QTP, UFT.
QTP,
Tosca.
yeah, Tosca, Postman,
Yeah, Insomnia.
JMeter, these are all tool. You know what is, guys, tool? Tool is something which is ready-made. You don't have to invest anything. Download, install, use it. You know what is library, guys? Library is just single library, or like example, many people has worked on Selenium WebDriver, right? Selenium WebDriver is all alone is useless. You cannot do anything with the Selenium. Only support what? Perform action on web application, right? Web application control. That's what we call, right? But just Selenium, you cannot use it. That's what people has to use with Selenium, TestNG, Maven, Extend Report, Apache POI, WebDriver Manager, many things you have to install to make it as a complete package, right guys? But in this place, Playwright has a guy's upper hand. Playwright comes everything inbuilt, everything inbuilt. Any guess, guys? Who is backing this to a library? Playwright? See, Playwright, Selenium, Cypress, these are all open source.
Microsoft.
Right? Yes, it's a product of guys Microsoft. And anyone who has seen the background of Microsoft, wherever Microsoft goes, Microsoft first thing they'll always focus on two things. Anyone who has seen the Microsoft trend, great product of Microsoft is your operating system and is your MS Office. You will always notice one thing with the Microsoft product. One is features. They'll have a lot of features. And second is user friendly. They'll make it as a user friendly. That is the first two things you will love the Microsoft. And most of the people come to the trap of Microsoft. Okay? Great. Anything else, guys, you wanted to know from me about Playwright? Any question, any doubt that you have? Anyone who knows the background guide? Before Playwright, something came up in the market 2019 by a library called Cypress. Sneha has worked. Sneha has heard. Anyone else who has heard about that? Cypress? Okay. So let me give you background. Good to know, because if you ask me as order wise, right now, which is on the number one, based on the use, based on the download, and based on the demand. Playwright is top. Second is still Selenium is ruling the second position. And third is, it's all depend upon the guys. It's all based on this data is grabbed based on the download, which is highly getting download in the market. Third is Cypress. But 2019 Cypress was the library came in the market to counter the Selenium. And it was doing quite well. Cypress is a company, Cypress is a country. They made a tool or library by name called Cypress. One of the best, still it's one of the best. In fact, it is faster than both Selenium and Playwright. Because Cypress is the only library in the market who does not interact with the browser. Everyone interacts with the browser. But this guy sits inside the browser and you know what is the meaning of that? Meaning is called simple. So this is the only library which sits inside the browser, and rest every other library is interact with the browser. So whenever you are interacting with the browser, it is like if I want to talk to someone and I am outside the house, I'm calling that person and then talking. But Cypress is the one which sits inside the someone's house and work. So it's a much faster even than Playwright. But it comes with a certain drawback also. So Cypress was doing quite well, but because of the couple of their design pattern, design flaws, today also the design flaws hurt them a lot. Same set of people left that company called Cypress, left that, and they joined the 2021, around 2020-21 starting, they joined the Microsoft, and the same set of people, around 20 group of developers joined this Microsoft. These guys were knowing the problem of both Selenium and Cypress, and they addressed this entire problem of Selenium and Cypress and built this new concept called Playwright. This is the history of guys of your Playwright. And that is the reason why Playwright has become so powerful and so premium concept today in market, because of that reason. Because it is addressing the problem of Selenium, which people were facing, like auto waiting, isolation, and a lot of setup. Setup was a pain point in Selenium, still pain point in Selenium. Cypress, the pain point was parallel execution, cross browser. It is not possible because moment you sit inside someone else's house and talk, you cannot talk to your neighbors, right? But if you are on the road and then talking to that, you can talk to the same time 2 or 3 people parallelly, right? That is where the Playwright is a game changing, right? And with many other reasons, which Cypress made Cypress as a limited solution, and Playwright solved this entire problem by looking and plus top of that, they built a lot of AI concept which many people were building it by selling them as a call license concept and all, Playwright built it as a free of cost. Everything Microsoft providing you free of, it's like you are getting a BMW features free of cost. Simple answer why the market should go for the Selenium like Maruti. When I'm getting the all BMW features in Maruti cost, why should I still carry the Maruti? That's a simple answer. Okay, guys.
One question, actually.
Go ahead.
I mean, so like this tool, like it was not majorly supporting all the languages initially, but still now, even after being supporting all the languages, people always go for play this one, this TypeScript or
JavaScript, TypeScript, yeah, correct.
Yeah, like why so much popularity again still when we have products?
I'll talk about that. See, the reason is it is not that it was not supporting. See, in fact, I'll ask you the other peer and everyone one question then. How does Selenium also support multiple languages, right? You guys have used Java. Have you ever thought about why they support Python, C#? What is the purpose? Have you ever guys thought about why Pythons? I know, suppose, the other peer, you know Java very well, right? I have a Sneha who knows Java. I have a Abhishek who knows Java, right? I have a Kavita who knows Java. I have a Nitin who knows Java, right? Tell me one thing. Why should I suddenly go for the Selenium with Python? Have you ever thought about, guys?
Application support.
What application support? Tell me the other bit, like example.
I mean, like support. If the development is
see,
the platform is based on JavaScript or like Java.
How does it matter? Take example, the other bit. This application is developed using a Java. An example of this application is developed on the using Angular. Does it matter for you when you are testing that? In testing, you are always, the other people, you all know that, right? You are always, ultimate things is what? In automation, when you are dealing with, you are always going to deal with this concept, which we call as a this. Driver had a object has an object element and then set case, right? How does it matter whether it is developed using Python or developed using the Java or developed using the JavaScript or developed using the Angular or developed using the PHP or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It is nothing to do with, that is where I always tell people, and always, when you come to the automation, you should always know why language, how does the language matter? Imagine I have a Kavita who is superb in Java. Why should I ask her to go to the project and use the Selenium with Python? Have you ever thought about that? Don't you think I am doing a kind of crime with Kavita? Asking her to go and learn Python and then use that, where she is very comfortable in the Java, right? What is that I'm trying to
get your point. My point was like in organizations, like even now, there are some people still, the developers who do the testing. So there are people like who use developers for testing and all. So in that cases, like it will be easier for them instead of like.
But don't you think that I still disagree? The reason is, why are you asking the test engineer who is more focused on that to go and learn some other language rather than I would ask some developer to learn the Java and come back and use that, right? See, why should I mold someone like a Kavita who is quite good, who is also not, she's not meant for to do that multiple language, developer is more, right? So I understand what you are trying to convey the message. We have to bend and we have to mend ourselves as per the developer needs. Why not the developer should mend as per that, right? Agree. You are very comfortable, the other bit, take example with Java. Is it make sense to ask you to go and learn C# again and start doing everything from scratch? Answer is no. I'll not support that. In fact, many other projects when I was doing the POC, I have convinced my customer, why should I go for Python when I can achieve everything with Java?
Exactly, that's what my point. Like I was doing with C# and Python. Now, like because some customer requirement or like this supports more TypeScript and JavaScript, why I have to learn JavaScript and TypeScript?
That I'll tell. That has a valid reason.
Yeah.
That has a valid reason. But my question was always there for most of my team member, most of my customer. In fact, in interview, I used to ask people because I wanted to know people. They are just focusing on learning something or they understand that purpose. Why? You should know, the other people and everyone will always have this curiosity in your mind. Why? Why they are using? See, I'll tell you, Playwright does not require to support every language, but you know why they are forced to support all the language? The reason being is because of the, see here, look at here the Playwright, they support also all the language, you know. But look at the Ask Sneha, right Sneha? You know that Cypress does not support anything apart from JavaScript and TypeScript, correct? If you ask Sneha or right. Have you ever thought about why Cypress is not doing but everyone is doing it? It is like the other pair, it is called as a pressure of your peer, market pressure. I'll tell you simple. You go to market and ask anyone, hey, you have to now use Selenium with Python. They'll say why? They'll say I'm not comfortable, right? See, the reason is when Playwright was capturing the market, they thought about that. That okay, hey, most of my audience is coming from Selenium, and Selenium means 90% people use Selenium with Java. Moment if I ask them to move to JavaScript, I will lose my 50% of customers. Because there are many people in the testing considered as a non-technical people, correct? I hope you all agree, right? Now market is changing. Non-technical means who doesn't know coding, who doesn't know program. That is how test engineer has been treated. And it is not the market mistake, but mistake of individual as well. Now, Playwright has to simply capture everyone market. They said, no, I have someone who is very comfortable with Python, let them use Python. Someone who knows Java, let them use Java. And someone who wanted to use a new technology, let them give me the JavaScript, TypeScript. But Cypress was very clear. When Cypress came in market, they said, no, I don't want my audience to divert. Because end of the day, you are going to automate the application. Language doesn't matter. Language should not be your, see, just like, you know, the other way that how I give an example. When I'm going to learn the car driving, I should focus on the driving, not the car. I've seen many people who go to car driving school or they ask for, okay, hey, I'm going to buy a Maruti Swift Desire. Can you teach me on the Swift Desire? Why? You should not focus on the car. You should focus on the driving. That is exactly most of the people have a problem around that. They focus more on the car tool rather than the concept. More on the language rather than the concept. And that is where we lose the lot of focus. Okay. So let me tell you guys, I'm not a great fan of language. You know why? Because language is just your medium to address that. In fact, I like people, that's what I said, Cypress is, I worked for 3 years on Cypress. I still like Cypress. Because of certain things that are very clear. They don't allow people to use any other language. They don't allow people to use XPath. Cypress is against that. And it's a very valid reason. But the moment you say to market, or the moment I say to you that no, you cannot use this, you will not like it. So Playwright do not want to disappoint anyone. That's what Playwright come up with everything what Selenium was doing. And they solved the entire problem, plus they made their things very faster, very easier to capture the market. But at the same time, they do not want to disappoint the audience. Okay, so that is where this was become a, now we'll talk about that, why Playwright with. So as I said, right, it's a complete market pressure plus Selenium pressure, because there was a people who was coming from the different language background. Playwright do not wanted to absolutely ignore them. And that is what, if you see here, they also talks about any browser, any platform, any language. Exact example, just for your knowledge, guys, I'm telling you, if someone asks you, why should we use the particular language? There is a reason behind that. It's not because developer is using that. It is not because that application is built on that language. Why should I use? End of the day, I'm going to test the application functionality. So whether I'm doing Selenium with Java or Selenium with C#, how does it matter? I have a Kavita who is very comfortable with Java. Why should I ask her to move to C#? It's a crime. To making someone unnecessarily go to out of their this one and do something. You're not doing justice with her skill set. Follow her skill set. Utilize her skill set. That is the main important aspect. Only the language should matter, because every language provides a lot of inbuilt library which has a lot of inbuilt features. Because of that library, you can make your things very powerful. I'll give you an example, guys. After Java, if someone asks me to use any language, I'll always prefer Python. Two reasons. First is Python is like not a very strict like Java. You can create a class method and also do it. You can do without class method as well. Right? You can declare the variable. Data types is not that mandatory in that, right? Or you can do it with that also. And third, Python has a lot of inbuilt library like pandas, numpy, right? Many libraries are there. Imagine the other period I have to read the data from Excel in Java. I have to depend upon third-party library called Apache POI, right? Everyone has used it. I'm sure everyone agree with me. I have to do this, and then I have to write a 15 line of code to read the data from Excel. Go to the same job in Python, Pandas library. It has an inbuilt concept to read the data from Excel, write the data into the Excel, read the data from CSV, scrap the data from the web page without doing the just 2 line of code. That's the beauty of Python. That's what I'll go for Python. Just because someone is using Python, I should also force myself to use Python. I'm not in a favor of that. Until I'll ask developer to you change it. End of the day, you are going to contribute in my job. You should do that. Why should I change myself? Just because you are using, I should learn something and use it? No. My job is clear. My job is to test the application. I'm not going to write a code to develop the product, right? I hope I gave you guys answer, and I'll talk about the other bit why Playwright support JavaScript or TypeScript as a primary language, but doesn't mean that it doesn't support other language, but primary language. Till here everyone is clear, right guys? Okay, anyone knows the background about JavaScript or type? Okay, by the way guys, JavaScript or TypeScript both are same. TypeScript is advanced version of JavaScript. And just as a layman, simple example I'll give you if I wanted to guys. Whether you guys are using JavaScript or TypeScript doesn't matter. In testing, it doesn't matter too much. See, TypeScript was developed because for any enterprises application, large enterprises application, developers were not able to scale up their application using JavaScript. Because JavaScript design pattern does not encourage the people to go for that. And that's what the Microsoft come up with the TypeScript language. In testing, it doesn't matter because your testing code, whatever you are going to write automation code, is not going to get exposed to the outside world. It is consumed within the SCL, within the project. So if I'm not following the strict certain concept, it is still okay. Certain performance issue is still okay. It's manageable. Understood guys? The basic difference just for all of you, but we will discuss this later as well. JavaScript and TypeScript, there is only one difference, the major difference. Anyone knows? Anyone who has? It's always good to share your knowledge, whatever you have. Anyone has any understanding what is that? Okay, so let me tell you, JavaScript does not follow the data types concept. I hope you guys, everyone knows about the data types concept. What is data types, guys? In any programming language?
I was just thinking because I think team has worked, but they have not extensively worked on these technical tools. I think we have to jump into basics now.
We'll jump on that. I'm just setting this whole environment. So this is good to know that.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so that we can start from the basic and move forward. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to the same direction. It's just that I'm trying to visualize the entire. See, I wanted to change the mindset of the team, that how you should think about anything that you're thinking. So the concept that I want to bring guys in everyone's mind, that why. Keep asking yourself why. See, don't you think you should ask yourself question that, or you go to the market, go to customer you are facing, some customer said, why are you using TypeScript, why not JavaScript? Don't you think you should know that? Answer is yes, I should know that. Anything I'm using, there should be a reason behind that. That's what we call as a why. So I'm sure everyone would have used in Java also data types concept, right?
Yeah.
We have a like int, char, float, right?
It's like how you interpret the
Basically, how you declare the value. See, Java is a very strict program. Java does not allow you to declare your anything without the data types, correct? Yeah. But JavaScript, you can do it. That's what the JavaScript was built for that. In JavaScript, everything is defined based on the value, not based on the data types. Example, suppose I say here, number. I say number equal to 10, they'll accept this also, and I'll say number equal to 10. You know, they'll accept this also. But you know what is the difference between both 10 and this 10? Anyone? It's the same Java concept. One is an integer, another is a string. Now, if you do it in Java like this, Java will throw there, right? But JavaScript will not throw. You know what? Because JavaScript is dependent upon the data, not the data types. So for this value, they will treat them as an integer. For this value, they will treat as a string. Simple. But the moment you breach the concept of data types, you cannot build the enterprises application, the large scale application, because security will be a concern. That's why Java is one of the very powerful language. Structured program. That's why Microsoft come up with a new language called TypeScript. In TypeScript, they introduced the concept of data types. That's all. Okay guys, clear? So if someone asks you the basic difference between JavaScript and TypeScript, the first basic difference is 99% both are same. Their variable declaration, coding style, everything is same. Just that JavaScript does not follow the data types concept, TypeScript follow the data types. Otherwise, anything you are going to do it in the TypeScript, it's the same in JavaScript. A very simple language. Okay. Another thing, you remember there is another thing which we always call as a guys call automation guidelines. Whenever you are going to approach for automation, many people think that automation meaning is called I should know the tool. I should focus on the Playwright. I should focus on the cycle. No, that is not the reality. That's a wrong approach. See, automation meaning is the 100% of automation is divided into two categories. If you wanted to win the automation, there's a two category we divide, 50%, 50% category. The first 50% guys is called your, see, end of the day, whether you are doing manual testing, whether you are doing automation, you are going to test the application, correct? You are going to test the functionality, behavior. So the first thing which is very important, that's what I always advise people, application knowledge. Very important. That's what many companies like. While hiring it, people come from the domain expert, like banking. If you know how banking terminology, it becomes easier. But it doesn't mean that someone doesn't come from the banking industry, they cannot be a good tester. It's nothing like it. It's add value. You know already the driving, it's add value. You have already seen the BMW, so it is easy for you. But someone knows driving, they have not seen that, it's just that they have to pick up that, simple. So application knowledge is a primary guys, and best way to know the application knowledge is execute your test case. Manually wants to understand the behavior, functionality, thought process, everything. Second, that we call as a object identification. What is the meaning of guys object identification, anyone? In like anything in the go ahead.
How you interact with the elements.
Right. See, remember guys, this is username, this is password. How you know that this is username, this is password? Because you are human, you can read it. No automation tool world in this world can automatically think that this is username, this is password, including AI. Even AI cannot think. AI has to be guided, right? Just that AI has been guided more in terms of the data. That's what we call as a LLM, right? So, yes, to tool or to AI, you have to guide. Hey, this is username, this is password, this is login button. And that's what we call as an object identification. fact, there is a one question which is very famous in interview and in the client round. They'll ask you what we cannot automate and what we can automate. What we can automate, everyone knows, but there is a question always asked what we cannot automate. I know many people talks about many other reasons, saying that OTP, captcha, image, video, this, that kind. Wrong answer. In this world, if someone asks you what we cannot automate, guys, there is only two answers. What we cannot automate. Any guess, guys? Based on your experience?
Decision-making capabilities. Kind of.
So when you say decision-making capabilities, like basically, first of all, remember that in automation, if anyone tell about something called decision like dynamic things, automation is not for dynamic. Automation is always for the static, known things. A plus B equal to C. That's what we always follow the test case. Test case provide you the two things, steps, expected result. Okay? Moment today is A plus B equal to C and tomorrow is A plus B equal to D, automation will fail. So anyone who says how to handle the dynamic, let me tell you, that question also comes very frequently. Understand one thing. First of all, there is nothing called, there is a dynamic, but there are two aspects of dynamic. We call it a known dynamic and unknown dynamic.
Yeah.
You cannot handle the unknown dynamic. No tool in this world can handle them. Right? See, today I have this username password, tomorrow suddenly this change. Do you think any automation tool will automatically understand and guess that this has changed? No. Yes, there is something called known dynamic that you can handle it. I'll also talk about that. Okay? So if someone asks you what we can't automate, guys, there is only two things in this world that you can't automate. One is called unable to identify the object. Can't automate. Second, do not know the expected result, you can't automate. If you do not know what I am expecting, you can't automate. And you show me any example, then I'll tell you. There is nothing apart from these two that you can't automate. Anyone who says, I cannot automate OTP, it's wrong. We can automate, yes. Video, I cannot automate. Video is playing or not, I cannot. Video is paused, I cannot. No. Playwright or Selenium might not do that, but there is a tool available in market for that. And I'm talking about in that respect. So you have to, while answering, you have to be very clear, guys. Are you talking in respects of Playwright? Yes. I cannot automate mobile apps, I cannot automate thick client, I cannot automate image, I cannot automate videos, because this capability Playwright does not have. Selenium does not have. Right? Okay, so that is the first aspect, right? That 50% your problem solved by these two. If you are aware about these two, application knowledge, object identification, your 50% problem solved. And you know what is your 50% problem, guys? Next 50%. That is where I also advise people. Then next 50% you focus on this automation tool or library, which is called, suppose I am going to use Playwright. So I should know definitely, guys, what is Playwright, how Playwright works, what are the features, what is the limitation, what is the advantage. Fourth, because any automation tool or library you are going to use, remember, suppose Selenium with Java. Anyone who has used Selenium with Java, you know that, right, guys? That is where a lot of people has a wrong perception. Selenium plus Java, you know what is the combination? 90% code will be the Selenium code. And I'll show you the live example. 10% of the Java is involved. You're not going to use a Java because you're not going to do a development. Yes, logic is involved, that is where the Java is in. Otherwise, every other activity on a web application, Selenium is doing. Same way here, the Playwright. The fourth step that I always advise people, which is called your programming concept. I told you, right, I'm not a great fan of what? I'm not a great fan of programming languages. programming concept, your programming concept is clear, your 95% problem solved. I'll give you prime example, simple. Anyone who think that I don't know JavaScript, you don't require to know. JavaScript is just like a Java. You all come from the Java background, right? You all come from the Python background. You know where you have to focus on? You go to any programming language. You remember, guys, you have a data types concept, you have a method, class, object, inheritance, collection, arrays, right? If else, for loop, do while loop. Do you think it's a concept of Java? Answer is no. It's a programming concept. That's what I always say people, when you are learning any automation, anything, right? Don't focus on language, focus on the OOPS concept. Because everyone follow the OOPS concept. Class, object, method, right? Inheritance, encapsulation, constructor. I'm sure everyone knows about that. You're not going to find something different in JavaScript and TypeScript. Okay? Next is your logic. I always focus more on the logic. I say your logic is clear, you are done. And the last, I gave a last priority to the programming language. See, example, every programming language has a certain guidelines. Example, anyone who has used Java. Java is a very structured program. Java always follow with what? Java always a program will start with package will have a class will have a method, objects, right? All these things. You cannot do it without like this in Java, but JavaScript is not like that. Python is not like that. That's a difference one. It doesn't mean that JavaScript, TypeScript does not have a concept of class, method, object. They have, everything is same because they all follow the programming. Okay, fine guys, makes sense. I will give you a quick break, or maybe quickly we'll finish this guys called pre-test. We'll take a break.